Overdrive AF. This is the podcast for Overdrive Fitness. My name is Teddy Gerzon, and I'm joined by Gina Marie Gerzon.
What's up?
What is up? All right, back at it again. First day of spring, or second day of spring, actually. And it is beautiful. So we are
gorgeous.
very happy about that. So yeah, today we're just gonna get right into it, right? So what we wanted to talk about was, in a sense, right? What was it? Maximizing what?
Maximizing your fitness capability, utilizing your physiology specifically for females.
Yes.
The female physiology, yeah. It's a huge topic. I think that it's umbrella, right? It can umbrella out
Yeah.
to so many different things, which we want to touch upon.
Yeah.
But just even starting to really make people aware, the ladies aware, just make people aware in general, on how to utilize a woman's physiology to maximize her fitness capability. This is huge, guys. So yeah, go ahead, Boob.
No, yeah, it's definitely a big topic. I mean, even with our own population, our own clientele, it's I would say it's 50-50 as is. But let's face it, right? So as far as variables thrown into the equation, which can positively or negatively affect progress, we definitely see more of it through our female clients, right? So, it's I know there are people out there that want to say everybody's equal and this, that, and the other, but let's face it, it's not true, and it shows when people begin their health and fitness journey. Some people make better progress than others. Men usually, when they fall in line, tend to make progress a lot faster for multiple reasons, right? But it's easier to tackle those than it is to figure out exactly why a woman isn't making the same progress, right? So that's why we feel it's so much more important, because, I mean, if you want to take it from another angle, like my angle, right? Happy wife, happy life. So if you're a dude out there, your wife's struggling through this type of thing, maybe you want her to pay attention right now. So, and it's nothing against women, absolutely not, right? So it's just that you do have to view things differently. I mean, for instance, even going back to the concussion topic, when I talk about female athletes, right? There's a reason why female athletes tend to get more concussions than male athletes, even with the fact that there aren't really any intentional full contact sports for females, right? With the exception of like combat sports, obviously. But, you don't go out to play lacrosse, soccer, and basketball with the intention of hitting somebody head on like you would in rugby or football, right? So, yet there are girls that get plenty of concussions playing.
But it
soccer,
does happen,
lacrosse,
yeah, I was going to say.
Basketball, right?
Yeah.
Because the physiology is different, right? So those are things that we need to address, accept our fate and the facts of the matter, and use those things to our advantage so that we can blow past these obstacles and, as Borat would say, great success.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah, why don't you take it over?
Well, I mean, that was a great introduction, too. So, again, this is such a huge topic. It can span over weeks and months of podcasts and lengthy talk and discussion, and really, really important things that we actually need to go over. But you have males and you have females, and you have males have hormones and females have hormones. If we're just going to get right down to it, but kind of be basic, like just foundational at the same time, men's primary driver is testosterone, and that can kind of wave through every 15 minutes or so. But women have different hormones. I mean, we have testosterone, we have progesterone, we have estrogen, we have a variety of hormones that are constantly in flux with each other, and they're ebbing and flowing, and one can we can have positive exchanges and then some negative exchanges when things rise and fall, and that's what makes females really intricate bodies and intricate beings, because when we look at data and we look at all of the testing that's been done over the years, that a lot of this testing has been done just on males, and it hasn't specifically been done on females. So one thing that, again, we're going to keep talking about this in different aspects of it, of maximizing your fitness capability and working within your physiology as a female. Like I was speaking to Teddy just before about, is that, in a sense, you know what, if you're waking yourself up at 5 a.m. just to go to the gym, or just to get your training session in, or just to get your fitness class in, or whatever it is, in a sense, you are an athlete, because it's purposeful. It's on purpose. You're not doing it for shits and giggles, right? I mean, am I right? And the men can agree with this too. All right. So when we're getting up, and most of the time, I'm going to say people are exhausted if they're getting up at that 5 a.m. time or 4 a.m. time to be at a 5 a.m. training session, or a 5 a.m. class, or even if it is a 6 a.m. training session or a 6 a.m. class. You're doing it for a reason, and the reasons can be a variety, one or more. But you know, is that working for you? So we have to start to think about, how can we really maximize the choices we're making and what we're doing to allow for the most success and the biggest bang for our buck, the most return on investment. Besides the fact that, you know, you want to surround yourself, obviously, with like-minded people, Overdrive, and you want to be in a community that supports your journey, Overdrive. And if you want to be led by coaches and even peers that pump you up and amp you up and allow you to feel better than when you walked in, Overdrive.
Shameless plug.
Just a little shameless plug. But yeah, I pat ourselves. We pat ourselves on the back for that. It's a really wonderful thing that this is what we hear from our members and our clients, and that have been with us for so long. We want to create the space, the environment, everything that's going to allow us to maximize that potential. And again, that return on investment, the most bang for our buck. I'm not saying that we need to work out every day. We preach quality over quantity here. We've always preached that. All these effing reps to failure and for time all the time and all this other stuff. The focus is always on the quality of your movement, quality of how your brain functions, quality of how your body is working, quality in general, energy, stamina, all of this stuff. We always encourage and push the fact that quality is the most important thing. Your hydration, whatever. We need to figure out what works for you. So if getting up at 4:30 in the morning is, and let's face it, most people in the United States, I would say it's a 2-income household, right? It's not just the men bringing home the cheddar, it's the women too. And the women, and again, we're just putting it out there, guys. These are facts. The women are making sure that the clothes are, washed and folded, cleaning the house most of the time, getting food prepped and ready for meals, dinner, lunches, outings, games and meets for the kids, putting on shows, extravaganza, whatever that is, and being able to put some money into the bank account and being able to pay for all of those other things as well, right? To live life, not just to kind of cruise through it and like struggle. So, the men and the women are doing their best. The partners are doing their best to meet each other halfway in a sense. And most of the time the women are, if you're getting up, what I'm trying to get at is, if you're struggling to wake up at that 4:30 time, or even 5:30 time to get to that early morning class, you rush, bust your ass in that class, struggling through it, breaking yourself down and shit, whatever that may be, feeling like you're rushing the F out of your training session or your class or whatever that is. Got to get home, got to get yourself ready, got to get the kids ready on the bus, driving to school, whatever, and then get to work. I'm making points here, right? This is probably maybe hitting some nerves for some people, and really, holy shit, this is exactly me. This is me. What the fuck? Whoever has their own business, whoever has a very important job to get to, whatever the case. My point being is that if you're struggling to get up, to get all these things done, get through your workout, maybe at 70-75%, maybe at the most it might be 80%, and look, that's mediocre. I mean, there's some days, hey, a B is the best we got, and that's what we got. But we can always strive for better. And again, we're always focusing on quality over quantity. We want to feel awesome when we leave our session. We want to feel like I did something today, and you're starting to not only feel the benefits, but see the benefits, and not just you, but those around you. If we're struggling through that whole daily process, then it's time that we start to revisit that process and start to think about coming back to hormones and, certain days in our cycle. Are we sleeping well? Are we not sleeping well? Are we not as hungry? Are we more hungry? Are we feeling irritable? Are we feeling energized? Are we feeling fatigued? Are we feeling moody? Different phases of that cycle. Men don't necessarily go through that ebb and flow through that 28 to 35 days. Women do. We do. And again, there's different hormones that play a part in that. So what I'm trying to really drive, the point I'm trying to drive forward is, if specifically, on those days where we're feeling pretty damn shitty, and maybe dialing it back a little bit, and we're busting our ass 10 times over, and we're rushing through all of those other things just to make it through the day and the night, maybe we need to revisit that process. And again, always thinking in the back of our mind, quality over quantity. Maybe working out 7 days a week isn't the best idea, and actually sleeping in that extra hour so that you could go to a later class. And again, this, it might take a little bit of time to figure that out with your spouse, with your partner, in-laws, parents who watch, like tag team things up. Starting to think about how can you really maximize your 24 hours and really allow for all these benefits to show their face. So not just hormonally, neurologically, emotionally, and physically. Allow it to flood your system internally, and allow all of that flooding and all these wonderful cascades of hormones and neurotransmitters and all these wonderful things that we produce and emit when we train, when we take a class, when we exercise, to allow it to really benefit us all in all. So physically, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, spiritually, all of those things. Just throwing that out there that, maybe 4 days a week is better. Maybe finding a different time within that 24 hours, getting that extra hour of sleep in to go to a later class, or maybe taking a day off, instead of, gotta get there, I gotta get my 6 days in. That's causing anxiety in itself. And again, it could be some deeper issues that we need to work on, but if we just cover on the surface of what is going to allow you to really maximize what you're putting in during your training time, and what you're getting out of it, really that return on investment. I'm going to keep going back to that. return on investment. You're putting in that effort, you're putting in that time, and we see it. Again, I know going back to the athlete, but going back to our female athletes, all different ages, and we have all different ages of our adult members too, our adult athletes too. But really listening to how they're feeling and where they are in their cycle, and what was their day like, and even when I work with my nutrition clients, kind of digging a little deeper and finding what works best for them. So if we can just, on the surface, just drive that one point of maximizing that fitness capability by working within that 24-hour constraint of finding what the best return on investment would be for them.
Mm-hmm.
Time-wise, performance-wise, strength-wise, like how you're feeling in your body, energy. So start to think about those things. Maybe sit down at dinner and just have a 5-minute conversation with your partner and figure it out, what works best, because at the end of the day, there's always a way around it. And I see a hell of a lot happier faces when I know that these people are coming in, these ladies are coming in, and it's a much better time for them. They feel energized, they leave happy, their evening goes smooth, they end up getting better sleep. So all in all, in general, working within your physiology by finding that best time frame so that you feel your strongest and you feel your most capable, and being honest with yourself and how many days a week should I really be training. Maybe I need to talk to my coach about that. Let them be honest with me. Am I seeing the results that I am looking for? Could I be doing something wrong? Am I overdoing it? And again, this topic is, we could go on with different different tangents, but within the topic. So I think we should just start there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've already probably blown people away with why, eyes wide open, mouth, tongue on the floor. Oh my God, she's talking about me. But this is huge.
There are plenty of yous out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the same boat as you with the same exact struggles, which is why we're bringing it up. If it was such a unique thing where you were the only one, I don't think it would be a topic for discussion, as the issue would only pertain to you yourself. So just know that there are other people in the same boat, and everything that you had mentioned helps every single one of you, right? So I was just on my phone because I was trying to find the quote that I had read the other day, but it was a couple weeks ago, and it's been posted several times over, but it was something out of the mouth of current 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey. I think it was an interview with Men's Health or Men's Journal or something like that, where
I'm interested to hear this.
he was talking about rest and recovery, right? Because people were everyone's always asking what's your favorite exercise? What's your favorite type of workout? What do you do to blah, blah, blah? And then he was well, I treat rest and recovery as a very important part of my training program. He treats his rest day as a workout day, right? It's always important for people to get all their workouts in, but it's never important to them to rest. So it's important for him to have those scheduled rest days or recovery days, and recovery meaning what he's referring to specifically is soft tissue work, right? So
amazing.
Overdrive, another shameless plug, right? So it's not just training and nutrition here and accountability. We do offer massage therapy, especially in specifically towards the athletic and recovery based modalities for the people that actually do beat themselves up physically, like all our members do. Not the $15 1 hour foot spa type of massage. Like, and no knock on them, but you know, it's like you don't buy a Hyundai expecting to get a Mercedes performance, right? So just be aware of what you're throwing your money at, right? So there's a lot more return, what we're saying, and if that's what you need, then that's the type of service that we provide. We have plenty of people that can vouch for that type of service.
And also too, again, speaking about female physiology and different times of within that cycle too, we recover much faster, and then there's other times during that 28 to 35 day cycle that we don't recover as fast. It's just part of the hormone shifting. It's just part of that ebb and flow. And to be honest with you, that's when, you know, again, maximizing your fitness capability within your physiology, what is going to work for you and what is going to give you the biggest return on investment, what is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. We have, I mean, it's wonderful to be able to discuss, and our members come up to us with so many questions because they trust us, and amen for that. Thank you, and we appreciate it. So that in itself is just talking about maximizing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people don't need to work out 6-7 days a week.
No.
So
No.
understand your body, right? And I don't want to keep this going, but I mean, it's on the top of my head, but I know I'd spoken before when I went to go see Dan Paff speak. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. How he is like one of the best strength conditioning coaches ever. I should say even beyond strength conditioning. He's more of a sports performance coach, right? Because he factors in a lot of different things that lead to peak performance for extremely high level athletes, right? So in the seminar I was sitting in with him, listening to him, he had spoken about how he had like a specific example of 3 Olympic athletes that he was training at the time, and all 3 reacted differently to different training modalities. Where one, if he worked out more than twice in 1 week, I'm talking about including practice, if he did anything rigorous more than twice a week, he would get sick and it would take a month for him to recover. So he only, and we're talking the Olympics, right? Not your fucking like slow break recreational basketball league, right? For over 45, right? We're not talking, you know, housewife whose main stress, and I'm not downplaying it, but is getting all 4 kids to school and they all wind up going to 4 different schools, getting that done in less than an hour, you know, and then prepping all their food and having everything ready for the husband coming home from a 14-hour shift, whatever, right? We're talking Olympic level athletes. This person could only handle 2 workouts a week, right? And then there was athlete number 2 who he said only got faster, because he was a sprinter, only got faster when they spent more than 3/4 of the time training on the track. If they spent more than a certain amount of time in the weight room, it would actually make him slower. And then athlete number 3 responded very well to weights and not so much to an overload of sprint work, right? So that's someone that's taking a macro look at every individual and making sure that their program is appropriate for them. And then applying it to what we're trying to say is understand your physiology, understand who you are, the way you react to things, not only emotionally and mentally, but physically. And then using those results to your advantage, right? Whether it be, I don't know, maybe going ham in here 3 times a week and then getting a weekly massage to help promote, you know, the healing process, so that the sooner you heal, the larger the gains and the quicker the timeline, the shorter the timeline is for you to reach those goals, right? So just remember, everything does factor into play. And obviously, sleep and nutrition is going to work into that, but everything needs to be equally prioritized. It may not need the same amount of time for each individual thing, but it's very important to understand who you are and what you personally need to do to get the results that you want for yourself.
And also too, right? Stress and the stress hormones that we emit when you're rushing to your class or whatever. You got up late, you're rushing, you're running out, gotta grab my water, gotta put my shoes on, blah 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 blah. You're stressed. I got 4 hours of sleep. I gotta get to class. You're half-assing it through the workout. Oh my god, I've got a wedding to be, I'm part of the wedding party in 4 months. I've got to lose this weight or whatever. Everything's stress. And then you're rushing home. It's more stress. So you're it's not allowing the benefits to show face. You're compiling all of this good work with the negative component. Cortisol has benefits, and it also has a lot of drawbacks. So balancing that out, and again, working within your physiology and allowing that physiology to really maximize your fitness capability. I know we keep saying it, but again, even with both of those examples, we can't hammer it home anymore, any better than that. And even within those 3 athletes, they all had rest. Correct, Teddy?
Correct.
They all had rest. None of them were training every day. None of them were training 6 days a week. They were all being given ample amounts of rest. Their coaches were giving them that time to rest. They were being guided. So again, if you don't have the opportunity for a specific coach that works one-on-one with you, you have to start to really dive in and listen to your body and, get more in tune with it. Sit for a few minutes and figure out what you need. And it might take some time. Play around with it a little bit.
I do it with every new member that walks in on day 1. We plan it out for them, right? So if you're a current member, whether it be online or in person here, and you need a better grasp on all this, right? That's why we're here. Reach out, we'll sit down, we'll talk, and we'll figure out the best course of action for you personally, right? Because you're here for yourself. Let's face it. You might as well maximize everything at your disposal to your advantage.
I agree. Yes, absolutely.
All right, so honestly, this episode is just going to be part 1, right? So I don't know how many parts it will be. There won't be as much of a gap as there was for History of the World Part 1 and Part 2. Shout out Mel Brooks. I love his movies. But I don't know, what Part 2 just came out this year, so that was 50 years almost? But whatever it was, which is crazy to think that the 70s and 80s were 40, 50 years ago.
Oh my God.
Fuck me. But yeah, with that being said, that wraps up today's episode. Maximizing your potential. What was
your
it?
fitness capability?
Maximizing fitness capability.
By working within your physiology?
By working within your physiology, specifically for women, right? We'll come back next week with part 2 of this topic, because we've got a lot more to talk about in regards to helping you ladies out in reaching your goals, right?
Yeah.
All right, so with that being said, we are out. We'll catch you in another episode of Overdrive AF next week. Peace.